What's good, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? It is day 3 of the 7-day stream challenge. What up? I like how we started off the stream with people actually on the stream. That's fly shit, bro. That's fly shit. We growing out here. This is why I did this whole entire, stream challenge shit, man, to try and grow a little bit. And I'm in a good mood, man. How's everybody doing out there, man? I'm in a very, very good mood, if I'm being honest with you guys. It's Thursday or Friday Eve. You know, happy to see you again. Yeah, what's up, Kylie? Oh my God, we got a return viewer. This is good shit, man. Uh, yeah, man. Friday's tomorrow. I don't know about you, but every Thursday night, I stare at my Chase bank account. Waiting, waiting for it to change, like it's a text from a hot girl or something. Like it's a text from a bad bitch. Oh my gosh, man. It's a good day too, because let's get into the music part. First, we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, you guys saw the thumbnail. We got a lot to talk about. But yeah, Friday marks 1 week that Drake's "Sexy Songs for You," has been out and on the charts and stuff. I've been listening to the album a bit. I'll be honest, when I first listened to it, it's not my favorite type of Drake, if I'm being honest with you. You know, um, I prefer the Drake that's a rapper. I don't really like Drake with the melodies and shit like that. And I feel like him kind of doing that is actually like kind of boring, Um, especially just because, like, bro, you just came off a rap battle. Like, you don't have to be aggressive and stuff, but like, really rap, show people you can rap. But nonetheless, this thing has actually been pretty solid, man. It's actually been pretty solid, bro. And what do you guys think about that stuff? Kylie, I don't know if you're a big music fan or anything, but I hope you came here because of the hip hop. Because if it's gonna be Elon Musk rants, I don't do that every day. Uh, I'm excited though. It's projected to sell like 250 copies, which is sick because he's independent, and I think this is so much bigger than Drake. Truth be told, like I'm a Drake fan, but I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan also. So it's like, either one. I'm just here for the music. But on the actual music side of being like an actual musician nowadays, this is actually really cool that Drake has pretty much gone independent. Because this will show how much clout and how much power artists actually have. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Uh, Love Kendrick. Never been much of a Drake fan though. I haven't listened to Drake's music, so I don't know my opinion of his new music. That's fair. That's fair, man. I mean, Drake, he does his thing, man. I think he might not be for everybody. I mean, a lot of people do like him, but I think it's because he's so versatile. It's not necessarily because he's always the best at shit. I love his rapping and stuff, and I'm a huge Kendrick fan too. That's my thing about like this whole like rap beef stuff, because like before, you could like both Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and it was cool. Like I actually think it was perfect back then because you had Drake for like the bops, the club songs and shit like that. You also had him for like more poppy type stuff, right? And he could still rap, right? And then you had Kendrick Lamar, who was more of the like you know real serious, insightful kind of rapper. And I think that's always been the kind of duality with hip hop. You've always had one person that does this. You have a Nas and a Jay Z. You know what I mean? You have like a Run DMC and a Rakim. You always have that type of vibe, all the time. So like, it was nice to see that, and they were so good. They're at kind of the top of their game. So it's like, it's great to see. But now everybody's so divided. I feel like now, bro, it's like, number one is, it's hard to be a Drake fan. You say you like Drake, people start coming at you, man. I've had to start taking karate classes out here, man. People want to fight. It's crazy. I swear to God, though, it's like it gets embarrassing sometimes because he does a lot of weird, corny shit, man. I'll be honest with you. I'll call him out for it. Um, like it really, he does a lot of corny stuff, but it's also just like I don't know, the fandom between both people has just become fucking nuts. But he's on course to sell 250 K, man. And what's up to everybody? I noticed we had like a big jump of people come in, man. This is what's up. Um, it's like music has become almost as polarizing as yeah, it has. Music has become very polarizing, especially like with hip hop right now. And I wanted to talk about this later, but I guess I'll talk about it now. I feel like hip hop is kind of losing the youth, if I'm being real with you, in a couple ways. Because like I was hanging out with my nephew the other day, and he's a young dude, but he's a little older. He's about like 21, 22. Yeah, it is all due to bots and stuff. They push like kind of the wrong people, and like I was just talking about this with one of my coworkers the other day, talking about like diversity in TV shows, which I'm for, but sometimes it feels a little shoehorned in sometimes. You feel me? So it's like, but he was saying that it's like they put the extra diversity in there to reach new people without having to like do anything new creatively. It's like there's a 10th or 15th Star Wars movie, but they put like a trans person in it. You know what I mean? Instead of just making not a Star Wars movie, make a new story with like a trans person that focuses on them. And diversity in general is cool shit. I mean, I'm down for it. I literally have actually have a video on my channel about a white comic who's suing Hollywood for DEI. So I believe in all that stuff. But yeah, sometimes, I think now with the internet, like entertainment doesn't really know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like entertainment just doesn't understand. Like now it's all YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and all that type of shit, right? And they're still like holding on to the old ways of things, And I feel like they instead of actually trying to do things better and trying to change with the times, they kind of just, throw random diversity in your face or just try to like, push the wrong people, and just throw money behind anything. And that doesn't really work. That's why so many like artists now that come out, they come out and then they kind of flop. You never hear about them again. Like I was thinking about this, like most of the artists, especially rappers, but in general, I feel like most kids nowadays listen to like older music and not as much like current music. Like they have their little people that they listen to that's like newer, but then everything else is old, stuff that their, family used to listen to or whatever. And when I was a kid, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. You're the whitest black guy I've ever said. I got a great buttery voice and I'm proud of it, Nothing wrong with speaking correctly, bro. Life is good. This is oh my god. I think this motherfucker wrote some random shit before this too, man. People are starting to troll me all because of an Elon Musk stream. You see how fragile these people are, man. You see, you see how soft people are sometimes. I do one stream talking a little bit about socialism and shit like that, and all of a sudden, motherfuckers start trolling me. They were trolling me the last stream too, man. This is how it happens. This is always how it happens. You know, I don't know. The Elon Musk, yeah, I'm sorry. I think he's corny. He's a cornball. Uh, Back to Drake, man. Yeah, he's gonna sell 250K. That's what they say. Who knows? I mean, I was just watching Joe Budden podcast and shit like that, and of course, if you listen to Drake's album, they were literally, you know, talking about the song "Give Me a Hug," which if you listen to, he kind of takes shots at Joe Budden and shit. It's interesting, man. I don't know what's gonna happen with Drake's career, man. I think he's doing well. This album seems to be selling well, but him suing in general, I think just ruined everything. Like he's still gonna be Drake, sure, but there's gonna be just a massive stain on like his legacy because of this whole thing. Not just losing to Not Like Us, but it's just like he lost and then he sued. It's like you're gonna tell your fucking mom, like what are you doing? You know? Um, yeah, corny. One of my favorite rappers. I fuck with him, but corny. Max, a groomer. No, well, I don't know. I don't know. This is, I guess we should start talking about that. Yeah, man. I felt like I just had to kind of do this stream just because, you know, uh, I was on Twitter today and I saw that this big streamer and just YouTube creator, Scrufacejean. I don't know if you guys know him. He's a really good creator. He was somebody who I think like already blew up, but got a lot of views during the Kendrick Drake thing. And yeah, somebody like exposed a bunch of like old tweets from his, saying like just real weird stuff about, girls who are like 16 and shit. And as a comedian, I feel like I can recognize when somebody's making a joke, and he definitely seemed like he was making a joke. And he's about like, I think a lot of those things too were like a long time ago, maybe like 14 or 15 years ago. And he's around my age. So 15 years ago, I was 19, or 18 actually. So if I'm correct, I could be wrong. Maybe he definitely didn't say it in like 2020 though, but it was like early 2010, like 12, 2012 or some shit. So around then, he's probably like 18, 19. So if he's 18, and making a joke about a girl who's like 16, that's not great in hindsight now, but back then that's not really anything. But I just feel like it's something that needs to be talked about because you know not only did this happen, but just a couple weeks ago, DJ Academics was kind of under fire for basically making all these weird, suggestive comments with a young kid who's about like 15 on Max's, Twitch stream, or I think Twitch stream or Kick stream or something like that. And I'm just wondering what's up. I'm like, what is wrong with all these dudes? Like, I don't know about you, but I feel like that type of news or thing coming out about me, it's like I would hold that as the worst thing to ever happen in my life. You don't want to be associated with any of that type of stuff. So it's like even that dude Scrufacejean, if he's making those old tweets when he was a kid, it's like I've been doing comedy for a long time. I'll say it like this, like I've been doing comedy for a long time, right? So everybody has, some joke that they made on Twitter that's probably like awful, like racist or, just bad, just in bad taste or something. But years ago, when I started seeing this happen to people, I was deleting shit, bro. I was deleting shit. I was deleting shit all the like scrolling through my shit, like literally going through my tweets, typing in search, Latino people, gay people, Jews, anything, just like anything, and being like, what did I say 10 years ago? Because if any of it's bad, I need to erase it now. And you would think these guys with all this money, you know, under them would be doing that like already. Like, do they just not remember any of this shit? Things used to be wild back in the days. Like, before social media was life, you lived your own life and you would just say something random on social media because you thought it was funny. And you were like, it's cool because this isn't a real place. And then all of a sudden, the internet became a very, very real place where people hold you very, very accountable, you know? Uh, and I think there's certain people who kind of just forgot that or like merged into it and never was like, okay, well, everybody's just going to give me the benefit of the doubt that that was old. It's like, no, they won't. In fact, we were talking about this just yesterday about how like all of existence now is monetized. So like most people don't really care about what you've done or who you are or what people say you did, but they do care about getting attention, which could possibly lead to them getting monetized and getting money because of their opinions. That's honestly kind of why the Kendrick and Drake beef was kind of so annoying because you saw people who didn't even like hip hop constantly tweeting. Like, I'm a comedian, so you would see comics like making funny tweets, not because they cared about rap and they actually like formed a informed opinion or something like that, but because they knew that if they did that, it would blow up, and more people would see it. So that's the world that we live in. Everybody's trying to hit a lick, bro. Everybody is trying to hit a lick every single day, all day. you know so they might not believe, that you think those things. But at the same time, if they see it, if they go back into your tweets and they see it, they're going to highlight it and pretend that that is exactly how you feel and who you are as a person, and pretend as if, they've never said any of that stuff or done any of that. You know what I mean? That's just where we are. That's really where we are. Like, yeah, like, what does it say? Right. You think they would have a team go through their past social media posts for PR? Exactly. You're a professional. How am I broke trying to get into all this shit? And I know that. And you're worth millions of dollars and you don't know that, you know? Yes, I did have a good time in Jamaica, Nancy. Thank you for checking in. Jamaica was lit, man. I got to go back. I'll be honest. Even when I was there, I was just like, yo, I have to come back here as soon as possible. You know, like I hadn't been there since I was a little kid because my family's from Jamaica and shit. But it was nice to be there, and I'm not gonna lie, like it sounds kind of corny, but I really, when I went there, I did really feel like, wow, like I'm home. Like everybody here does the same thing. Like I was talking to my brother about that actually, right? About how like, living in America, it's like it's nice that it's so diverse, but we have something that like every other country, or every other country has something that we don't really have, and that's kind of like a collective, one cohesive collective culture. Like, you go to Germany, everyone there acts German. You go to, India, everybody there acts Indian. They eat the same food. They listen to the same exact music. All that stuff. And they're multicultural places, but it's just not like how America is. It's so big, and there's just so many different cultures that the cultures have created so much different shit. Um, and that was nice to go like Jamaica, and it's like everything I've been raised on, this is what these people are doing, you know? Like when they say breakfast, like, when they say breakfast, I know exactly what they mean. Aki and saltfish, you know? Uh like every single dish is like something that my family makes every single day. It was just, I don't know. It was nice. It was nice. I definitely got to go back. And I want to start buying property over there or something. When I eventually, start making more money, because it's kind of fucked up. The resorts over there like own everything. Like, did you know the resorts in Jamaica own 99% of the beach? So people who actually live in Jamaica, only 1%. They only can go to 1% of the beaches in Jamaica. Uh, and it's a fucking island. You tell me on a fucking island, these people can't go to like whatever beach they want to. I understand like private beaches and shit too, but 99% is fucking insane. It's fucking crazy, man. But yeah, go to Jamaica, support the people, be nice to the people. They're very kind too, man. It's very safe for tourists. I know some people get a little like scared of that shit. It's safe. It's a good vibe, man. Um, but back to what I was saying about Scrufacejean and all that stuff. Yeah, man, you got to stay away from that type of shit, dude. You got to stay away from anything that can like fuck your name up, especially if it's something that you are in full control of. Because people are always trying to make a little bit off of someone else without having to do any work. And the easiest way is to find something damning about you and essentially blackmail you, or shame you, to get clout. So people need to pay attention, man, especially academics, because that dude, you know, uh, I, he's been in some trouble for quite a long time, man. I don't know if you guys in here, do you guys mess with academics at all, man? You know, I don't know. He's one of those guys. Like I like him, but at the same time, I'm just like he's a cornball. First off, he's kind of a cornball, but it's also just like he just does crazy shit. Like all that stories about his case and everything. Yeah, you've never heard of him? Yeah, he's like a streamer. He's like a hip hop streamer. I didn't think I would be into like live streaming when live streaming like came out and shit. It seemed like it was only for kids, but now it's, I don't know. It's diversified so much. That's kind of why I got into it, because I was like, I feel like there's a space for live streamers that appeal to like older crowds of people. You know, like it kind of annoys me that like I could be watching the same live streamer that's like streaming to like a 10-year-old or something. And we're supposed to be the same audience base. It's like it's not the same thing. You know. That being said, being a streamer, you have a lot of access to kids, so don't contact them. Don't make weird tweets or anything, man. Oh my gosh. God damn it. I can't believe being that dumb. I really can't believe being that dumb. You know, uh, it's Thursday, man. Friday, I have a idea for my stream tomorrow. I'm excited for. I think I'm gonna try to get more into, you know, travel and like food stuff along with the hip hop shit. But I'm gonna be mixing a lot of things together. And tomorrow, if you guys are gonna be here for the live stream, I'm gonna take you guys to the best halal spot in New York City. Best halal spot in New York City. I'm not, spoiling it yet, but yeah, it's gonna be a fucking vibe. I'm like tomorrow I get paid, so I'm like, yo, fuck it, we ball, fuck it, we ball. You know, that's gonna be fun, man. Because that's the one thing I don't know where are you guys from. You know, where's everybody in here from? Honestly, I'd like to know that because just New York City, man, just has the best fucking food, and I feel like sometimes you take it for granted. Alabama, okay, okay. I mean, I feel like the South has good food. You guys do soul food really well and shit like that. And even like Texas, I've never been to Alabama, but I've been to Texas and Georgia. I really want to go to New Orleans. um, New Orleans just looks like fucking beautiful. Everybody I've ever talked to that's been to New Orleans says that that's their favorite city. So I'm like, all right, there's something there, because my favorite city is New York, and I'm like, and people talk about New York all the time, but the other city I hear about all the time in the U.S. is New Orleans. Um, you know, NOLA is the best place for it. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like everybody, once you bring up New Orleans, everybody just starts going in like, "Oh my god, I had the best time!" Like, and the food there, I heard is crazy because they have such a crazy mix of people, the Creole people and all that shit. Man, it's fucking sick. Yeah, Ohio. Okay, yeah, I remember you. Hey, what's up? Yeah, Ohio is yeah, it must be freezing. I was thinking it's funny you're from Ohio. I was thinking about going to Cleveland. If I'm being real, I'm trying to like I've gotten to this point now that I'm like not as like scared to travel. I wasn't scared. I don't know, you get caught up in life, you never go. But I've been wanting to like go to almost like every major city in America recently. And I noticed like, with the flights and stuff, they're actually a lot cheaper. What a coincidence. What a coincidence. And I'm like, all right, a little flight to Cincinnati wouldn't kill me, Let's go. Make it short. Uh, That stuff is crazy. What do you guys think about the plane crash shit, man? The plane crash shit, it's just like I feel like every other day I turn on the news, they're talking about how a plane crashed somehow. I don't know about you, but there's something about that whole, DC one where the helicopter crashed into the plane where I'm like, I don't uh it's like I don't trust that shit. I don't trust that shit. It was like a military helicopter and it crashed into I don't know, something about it. There was another one that landed upside down yesterday, right? In like Canada or some shit. Fucking crazy, And it was a Delta plane, and I fly Delta. I'm like Jesus Christ. But I hear they're getting 30K though, so not bad, not bad. 30K to not die. They said most of the people were not seriously injured, so 30K to not be seriously injured but be terrified to fly for the rest of your life. I could do that. I think I could do that. I'll be real with you. You know. Lived in Cleveland for a bit. Yeah, man. I mean, I've always wanted to go to Cleveland, and I wanted to try, the fucking chili. You guys have like some sort of like weird special chili out there. Yeah, really good in planes, but because I was born after 9/11, I've always been weary. No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, they do say statistically with all the plane shit that those planes, it's like, they're a lot less likely to crash like a car does and stuff. But I think now, I think now, regardless, people are just worried. And I mean, hey, this some good might come out of this. Number one, maybe the regulations for planes and shit will get a lot better, like a lot better. And then number two, maybe plane tickets will stay kind of low. And I was actually thinking this. I think with the planes crashing, more people might start going to trains, because I've been looking into trains. I actually took the Amtrak from my sister's house. She lives in South Jersey, from South Jersey all the way to New York, and it was like amazing. It took like 45 minutes instead of using like New Jersey Transit or anything like that. And I don't know. I was just thinking. I was like, I wish we had more trains. Like I've been looking into like train travel. It takes so long though. That's the thing, but at the same time, I'm like, it should be cheap. Like train travel should be like if it's far away or something, it should be like $40, So it's like it's 18 hours, but you're gonna have to sleep upright, for 8 of those hours or some shit. Because I feel like we're too much of a car country, not even environment wise, but it's just like we're wasting viable ways for us to travel, you know. You know, I don't know. I feel like you're from Cleveland, you're from Ohio, one of you guys is from Alabama. You got to travel, man. I've been doing it. I used to think it was impossible and it's super expensive, and it kind of is, but it's actually not as hard as you think. And it's just amazing, man. That shit opens your mind. It really does, man. It really does. You know, I like to preach to my live stream crowd. What else? What topics do we got? Um, okay, yeah. I was speaking of Joe Budden before. I don't know if you guys saw. Him and Queen's Flip have been all over hip hop news recently for having some sort of big argument, and everybody thinks this thing is like super serious, like it's a huge, crazy argument because they are screaming at each other. They're really, really screaming at each other. Um, I thought it was hilarious though, and also like not only was it hilarious because they're screaming at each other, but I also thought it was hilarious because people who don't live in New York and like New Jersey think they're like about to fight each other. But if you were born and raised in like the Northeast, like New York, New Jersey, even Philly, you realize that's just like a argument. Like that's a light argument between friends. Dudes will scream at each other like that and then have a beer with each other like nothing happened. Dudes will scream at each other like that and then you'll think they're actually about to fight. Somebody will intervene and they'll both beat up the guy who intervened. Like you'll be like, "Yo, shut the fuck up." Shut the fuck up. What the fuck do you know? And they'll both look at you like, "Who the fuck are you joining into our conversation?" That's my brother. Don't talk to my brother like that. And they'll both kick your ass. That's how New York and New Jersey goes. So it's just funny to see like, all right, there's actually still some culture regionally uh in New York, because so many people are moving out of New York. You're like, is this even the city that it used to be? And it kind of isn't, but it still kind of is. So it's nice to see that and shit. You know, I feel like Joe Budden cannot stay out of headlines. If that's one dude, man. I feel like he's one of the wildest dudes to ever get so much attention and like money, especially independently. I gotta say, he's like kind of an inspiration. It's like, oh, you can just be a wild ass nigga, bro. You can be crazy as shit for years, have like mad stories about you, you know what I mean? And still be like that guy. Cause let's be real, man. Like I make fun of Joe all the time. I give Joe a lot of shit, but he's that guy. He legitimately is that guy. You feel me? And it's just like that's hilarious. Like maybe we were talking about the whole DJ Academics Scrufacejean thing. Maybe that's why they never cleaned up their tweets. They were like, "Yeah, I'm already the shit. I'm already that guy. Fuck it." You know. Which in that case, I actually understand the logic. You know. But Joe Budden, man. Oh man, that was one of the funniest. I love seeing people from like Jersey and New York argue, man. They're the funniest fucking people in the world. The things that they say. Like he literally called him what did he call him? He called him a negativity highlighter. Like they'll come up with terms, that's the thing. Like we'll come up with terms with people. We'll coin phrases, catchphrases and shit. He called him a negativity highlighter. I've never heard something so accurate about Joe Budden in my entire life. That goes up there, like negativity highlighter goes up there with fucking fucking habitual line stepper, you know? Like once Charlie Murphy said habitual line stepper, it was like it took off. It's just like you say that and you know exactly what somebody means, you know? Like everybody's known a habitual line stepper. Shit. I mean, I've been a habitual line stepper. I'm from Jersey, bro. I've been a habitual line stepper. I was born a habitual line stepper, bro. So here that I was like, oh wow, you know, this is some crazy shit. A negativity highlighter. I like that. That's some like therapy. See, this is why black people can't go to therapy because we use it for evil. We start, making shit go viral with different terms we done came up with. The the first black guy that heard the word projecting was like, it's on, bitch. You know, that was fucking crazy. I don't know. It was weird. I feel like I do feel like it was kind of staged though. You know, Joe Budden, that whole because it's like, why does somebody have a camera? It is just an argument and shit, but it's like, why does somebody have a camera up right now? You know, everybody was super chill in the background, which is pretty solid for a New Jersey argument. But to have somebody with I was like, what's going on here? You know, same. It's shame to see. It's like you think when someone's independent that they kind of don't do any of that stuff because I don't know. People think like independent's cool. That's what I'm learning, and it's like, I don't think independent really means cool. I think independent just means independent. A lot of them do the same fuck shit. you know, But maybe Flip came up with a negativity highlighter and was just like, let's go. You know, they do some good work on there though, man. You guys watch Joe Budden podcast? I fuck with Joe Budden podcast. Kind of heavy. I don't watch every episode, but you know, Joe, he really is like a master of finding that little thing, a master of highlighting negativity, the master of getting the story, creating the narrative and shit. Um, and it doesn't hurt that his voice sounds like Optimus Prime. People want to hear him talk forever. You know, this actually isn't my real voice. I just mimic myself after him. Yeah, man. Yeah, Joe's been doing some good shit. I'd never really thought that he would, um, blow up so much after like leaving Rory and Maul, but he's not only bigger, but he's better. Like the show's better. I do think though they have too many hosts. I like what everybody offers, but at the same time, I'm like, this is just too much. It's too many people for a podcast. Um, what the fuck do I know though? He's like the most famous, you know, hip hop podcaster in the fucking world. Um, what else on the docket though? Let's see. Tory Lanez um, wants to make a new album. Shout out to all the Tory fans out there. Are there any Tory Lanez fans in the house? I know he's a complicated figure. You know, I know Tory Lanez is probably happy that Kanye West decided to be crazy again. Because that takes a little attention off of his situation. That dude, I can't believe it's been over a year though since he's been. Well, it's been like what? It's been like 3 years, 3 years, almost 4 years. That he's been in jail, and with jail too, you only usually have to serve about like 70% of your sentence. So he really doesn't have too much longer till he comes home. And I kind of wonder what that's gonna be like. I feel like he's done really well with making it seem like he's still out there. Everybody knows he's in jail, but the projects that he's released while being in there, it hasn't. It's only helped him. It hasn't like hurt his relevance. I think it's only made him more relevant. One of the prison tapes, I listened to a couple of them, and they're really good, man. Really good. I mean, I'm not the hugest Tory Lanez fan. He's really talented. I just don't listen to him that much. But at the same time, like, yeah, I fuck with him. I fuck with him pretty heavy, man. He was kind of doing his thing, bro. Uh, I wonder now too if he'll like link up with Drake because of this whole, Kendrick beef and everything. Because mutually beneficial. You know, like what do you guys think about that? How would you feel about a Tory Lanez Drake collaboration project? Because honestly, if I'm being real with you, I would fuck with that so heavy. I think that would be a monumental album, bro. A Drake Tory Lanez collab record, bro, would be fucking crazy. Because it's basically like Drake is like Tory Lanez is like a mini Drake. Realistically, he sings and he raps too. So I feel like if they actually put themselves together on a couple songs, they would do really, really well together. That would do really, really well together. I could see it, man. I'm just glad Drake is dropping again, man, because all this UMG shit was just pissing me off. I couldn't stand that shit, bro. You know, I still think he's gonna lose though. Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. I mean, are you a big hip hop person at all? Because like, I listen to a lot of shit. I listen to a lot of like rock and roll and stuff too. And like, not too much dancehall, but like, old school, like real roots reggae, I listen to a lot of that. Um, but like hip hop's my main thing. It's kind of like that's definitely the glue that holds everything together. What do you are like, do you guys in this stream right now? I know I'm a young streamer, so you guys are probably just seeing it advertised and clicking on it, and checking things out and, hopefully liking the stream. Um, but I'm wondering if everybody in here is a hip hop person because like I really am. I'm huge into it. This is a hip hop channel. If you look at every video I have, it's either something about hip hop or it's something about comedy. And I'm gonna start posting more stand up comedy on here as well too. We're gonna be doing a lot of shit on here, man. What else are we talking about though? Was talking about 50 Cent, Rick Ross. Oh yeah, shout out. I do want to give a shout out to. I've been talking to talking about Drake so much. I do want to give a shout out to Kendrick Lamar though for getting over 100 million monthly listeners. So clap it up for that dude, man. I gotta clap it up for that dude. He's been killing it, man. As much as I talk about Drake and I like Drake more. They're still like two of my favorite rappers, like ever. Like they're both generational talents, and like and they offer two different things. You know, but shout out to Kendrick, man. He's having his moment. I like his moment. Um, he dropped some weird shit today. He dropped like a an album, but it was like an old kind of album or some shit like that. I don't know. It's called Faith, and it has a couple remixed songs from GNX, but then it also has some kind of like super old Kendrick Lamar songs, which is definitely cool. Definitely cool. But it definitely seems like an old throwaway. Like he found a bunch of old shit and threw it in there, and just kind of put it out. I think kind of trying to like put a damper on Drake's like sales. I think because he likes fucking with Drake, which I think is hilarious. I love the little rivalry. The fans make it lame, but I love the rivalry between them. Yeah, he did drop, but it's like I have YouTube music, so maybe that's why, because I noticed it's not on every DSP, but he dropped something pretty much exclusive to YouTube called Faith, and it's a mixtape. I mean, it's so weird nowadays because everything is called an album. Anything more than like 7 tracks is called an album now. But I would totally call this a mixtape. Like this isn't even to call it an album, like a Kendrick Lamar album is almost like insulting to him. Because he's so good and he puts so much thought into his albums. This is just like, like he went on his hard drive, highlighted like 10 tracks, and then just like threw them on and burned them onto a CD or something. That's basically all he did. But it's good. It's good. It has a mixture of like, old Kendrick, almost like overly dedicated Kendrick Lamar. So like we're talking like 2009, 2010 Kendrick Lamar. There's some songs on there. I really like Celebration, the first song. Because it just reminds me of like, nostalgia, bro. Back when I was listening to them for the first time. You feel me? Like that shit, that's the thing about music, bro. Like it'll bring you back to when you first heard it, and I think about that all the time. Like listening to those guys, like I when I was a kid, I used to always like ask my brother because he was like in high school in the '90s, like, yo, what was it like to like be in high school when like Biggie was out, you know? What was it like to be there when like Tupac was out? Because he graduated in 1995. And he was like, yo, it was awesome. And I always wondered how that would feel. And, I didn't know it while I was living it, but it's like, I totally got that. Like Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole came out when I was like a junior, senior in high school, So it's kind of crazy to see how they've grown and became these like, all three of them have become legends, like all of them, you know? Yeah, it's pretty much like another Untitled, but I would even say Untitled is a bit more cohesive than this. is definitely way more cohesive than this. For real, like if you listen to it, go on his YouTube if you want to later. Don't leave me, or do whatever. But if you do, you'll listen to it and you'll realize that yeah, it's just a bunch of like kind of random songs, but it's good. There's like Luther 2.0, whacked out, whacked on murals and shit. So it's like all these things that are kind of like you know continuations or kind of remixes to the songs that were like most famous on the recent album. It's really cool. I fuck with TV on. TV on was really good. Luther 2.0 is good, but it's kind of more Kendrick in his old bag. Like if he wasn't trying to kind of be a little bit more commercial right now to kind of beat Drake as his own game, I think this is more what he would put out. But it's cool. It's a cool vibe. I'm just glad people are dropping music again and like it's a good time right now. I need it for the winter because in New York City it is fucking cold, bro. It's the type of cold that like gives you a headache, and like makes you tired, it's yeah, it's brick out there. I need something to do on the inside to hang out. What's your worst top five rapper of all time? My worst top five rappers of all time. Dylan, and Dylan. No, no. Worst five rappers of all time. You know what I'd say? Probably Hurricane Chris, right? Um, Hurricane Chris. Mm, Gutta Gutta. It's gonna be a lot of Southern rappers. I'm sorry. Hurricane Chris, Gutta Gutta. Um, I could say I'm gonna go Mac Dre. I'm not a big Mac Dre fan. I'm sorry. I'm not a big Mac Dre fan. Uh, you know, at all. Like I get it, he's a party guy and shit, but I don't really fuck with him like that. Pitbull and Flow Rida. So those are definitely my top five worst that I can think of actually. And don't you know, I might come back to that though. I might come back to it and bridge a few of these, choices because getting a rapper or getting a rap fan to talk about who sucks at hip hop is such an easy thing to do. If you get me drunk and you're like, who do you hate in rap? Back in high school, especially, I would have been able to go 3 hours just on that shit, man. Yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta come from Mr. Worldwide. I gotta come from Mr. Worldwide, bro. I gotta come from Mr. Worldwide. That dude, he's one of those guys, he's one of those dudes where it's like I clown, but at the same time, I have so much respect for it because it's like somehow he found like this little pocket to get into, man. And he's a millionaire because of it, or at least has mad money. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, bro, fuck it. Like, I got my regular job. This dude is doing his thing being Pitbull, and everybody seems to say that they don't like Pitbull, but obviously that's a lie. Obviously there's some liars in here. Kylie, I'm gonna say, you know, actually, well, you take it up for Mr. Worldwide, so that makes sense. See, we got Mr. Worldwide lovers over here, man. Flow Rider too. I mean, he hasn't really done shit in forever, but he made it happen. The fact that Flow Rider can make it happen, like actually make it happen, and he's Flow Rider. Like no one, I don't think anyone's ever liked anything he's done, but he still have like, bro, the drive, and I won't even necessarily say talent, just the drive and pure ambition and intelligence. I think you have to be like a one hit wonder. You know what I mean? That person that can hit that little pocket and you might never hit it again. You know, that it that shit is rare. That shit is rare, man. That shit is rare. Mr. 305 is not whack. I feel, hey, man. I mean, I know he does a lot of reggaeton stuff, so I could see also that being like maybe his biggest thing. You know what I mean? Because I feel like he came out earlier and always had a bit of a reggaeton sound, but he was like, still trying to really be like a rapper. You know? Yeah, but yeah, man. T Pain, yo, bro. T Pain, man, he's somebody who I feel like people used to shit on, But like I love T-Pain, bro. I love T-Pain. I feel like he's such a legend and he gets looked over. People now seem to have sweetened up on him a little bit. Um, I think his NPR Tiny Desk changed a lot of people's perception, of T-Pain. If you guys haven't seen that, you got to go see it. It's T-Pain. He performs with no auto tune, and it's such a vibe. Like, you know, NPR Tiny Desk is already like the shit. Like, I love Tiny Desk. I could watch that all day. Uh, but his was like fantastic. Like, if you guys watch that, let me know what your favorite one is. Because I'm all over the place. Like, I really loved like Genuine, or not Genuine. Who was it? Juvenile. Juvenile's Tiny Desk was great. Tyler the Creators was fantastic. I think Tyler the Creators might be my favorite. Actually, no, Mac Miller's is my favorite. If we're going top five, I'm gonna give you my top five favorite NPR Tiny Desks, uh, and in no particular order. Mac Miller, um, Mac Miller, fucking Pitbull. No, Mac Miller, Freddie Gibbs, Juvenile, Tyler the Creator, and I feel like I want to say the Pixies did an NPR Tiny Desk that I really like. There was a band that did it that I really liked that I for some reason I cannot remember. Um, but those are definitely my top five. For real, Freddie Gibbs too, man. Freddie Gibbs, he's somebody who gets so overlooked, constantly. Um, he dropped that last project a couple months ago that was fire. I thought it was really, really great. He's somebody who like, you know, I feel like him and Drake are in the same zone where it's like they're really good at what they do, but the internet games and the stupid shit they do outside of their career, like totally destroys, their perception, because hip hop is all about perception, man. And like the goofy shit that they do or get caught doing always makes them look dumb, and then people don't want to listen to them as much. Obviously, Drake's immensely popular, but especially for Freddie, like he never gets put in like the goat conversations of just like rapping. Sales you really can't compare that with him, but just rapping, just being like that guy, and he's definitely one of those guys. Like, bro, Pinata, oh my god, bro. He's done so much shit with like Mad Lib and shit, and what's the album with the zebra stripes and shit? Fly ass album, man. Um, Anderson Pack. Anderson Pack is good. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I never really got into Anderson Pack too much, man. Um, there's just something about him that I never fully connected to, but I know people who love him, like people who stand by him. And I will say, that stuff they did with the whole Silk Sonic thing with him and Bruno Mars was actually really good, man. Like, um, what's that song? Leave the Door Open or whatever. Really, really good, man. And speaking of Bruno Mars, he's one of those guys that like I don't listen to like all the time, but when I hear him, I'm always kind of happy to hear him. And he has a real talent, man, for like making songs that sound like they already existed. Like he makes songs that sound like classic 70s like soul songs and shit, which is like a talent. Like he'll sing a song and I'm thinking he's doing like a cover almost. That's kind of what I felt like with that song. Was it Leave the Door Open? I was like, this sounds like some old school 70s shit, and I'm fucking here for it. So I gotta watch Anderson Pack's Tiny Desk, but by far Mac Miller, man, that was my favorite uh Tiny Desk, man. Mac Miller, bro, he's a dude that like, that I almost like still miss. And it's like, it's crazy to say because you don't know these people, but he's basically the same age. When he died, he was 26, I was 26. So that hit me hard, and back then I'm living in Brooklyn, partying all the time. So I'm really like looking at my life like, oh wow, like real shit can happen, like he's somebody I didn't even expect to pass away. Um, you know, Shout out to Mac Miller, bro. Um, have you guys listened to the album that he had? Yeah, Balloonerism. I have listened to Balloonerism. I like it. I like it. I mean, It's not as you know, good as his other stuff. I don't necessarily think so because and it's hard. I mean, it's a compilation of everything that he had basically on his hard drive that he was still working on. So these songs aren't really completed, and you can't really put that on him. But what's the last album he had? Circles, I believe, was the last album. I really like that album actually, and that's a posthumous album as well too. Um, but that album, like Hand Me Downs, such a perfect song, such a perfect song. Once a Day, like that's why I miss Mac, man, because like I love hip hop, but like I said, I listen to a lot of different people, and like he was somebody who started out as a rapper. And he's still a rapper. He could always bar you up, but he would like. I noticed him gradually kind of going more into this like it's not even alternative or something, but it's more like it was just singer songwriter stuff, but in a very like interesting way. And I just fell in love with it. Like that whole album Circles is like so perfect, man. Like um Good News, you know, off of Swimming. Swimming was like, you know, like that shit was fucking fire. So rest in peace to that dude, man. Um so funny, so much potential. He's somebody I saw somebody post you know, what's your biggest what if in hip hop? And he has to be one of mine. One of mine. Um, you know, Mac Miller, what if Mac Miller was still alive? And what if Kanye's mom never died? Those are my two biggest what ifs in hip hop. Let me know if you guys have any. Like, what are your like what ifs and shit? Because like that's something I think about all the time. I'm like, yo, what if Mac Miller was just still alive, bro? Just and he would be the dopest. I know he would be the dopest. If I'm being real with you, I think Mac Miller is definitely like the best white rapper there is, you know? Um, like I love him, and I'm a big Eminem fan. I came up on Eminem. I'm 33, so I grew up when he was like really popular, and I was a little kid when he was, you know. And I love M, but I think full catalog wise, and I think M is a better lyricist. But if we're going full catalog wise, Mac Miller, like because there's something I feel like when people rate like hip hop, sometimes they really only think like the numbers or like how lyrical miracle somebody is. But it's not just that. It's not even like and it's not even just like how insightful the songs are either. It's like, I don't know, like to me, versatility is a very, very big thing, you know? Um like a very like I like when a rapper or a musician of any kind can make a bunch of different sounds. To me, that's a big, huge chunk of how I rate somebody and how talented they are. And Mac Miller was one of those guys. Um, Not hip hop, but hers. If you haven't heard of them, it was a two-person band that died in a bus wreck after the whoa. Wow. Was it I'm assuming two guys maybe? Yeah, no, I got it. I got it. Yeah, man. Ah, that's hard. I have to listen to them. I have to listen to them. Okay. And that's cool. I like getting recommended stuff that's not always hip hop because I listen to a lot of rock and stuff. And I think eventually, as I get bigger on this platform and stuff, I'm gonna try and diversify too and start introducing more rock and shit on here. And once I start getting my interview show going, I'm gonna have like artists of all kind and stuff. But yeah, like Pixies is like one of my favorites. I'm going to see them in a couple months. Manchester Orchestra is one of my favorite bands. You know, that I really love. Wallows, one of my favorite bands. So I'm definitely down to check out hers because that's fucking nuts. And you know, there's going to be some sort of extra heaviness to it when you're listening to it too, man. I don't know what it is about like when a musician dies, but it's just like, you know, it makes all their work mean so much more because you just know you're never going to get it again. You know, so it makes you savor every little piece of it, you know? What is this? My what if is our outcast. Yeah, as if Outcast never broke up. That's a big one. That's a big one. I get that too, because like Outcast is crazy, but you know, I understand. I feel like their separation was natural, you know, super, super natural, you know, um, just because like they had done it for a while. Doing like a duo thing, I feel like can probably weigh on you and stuff. And then the last album they dropped was like Idlewild, which wasn't that great. I do wonder like what'll happen if they ever come back together. I think that would be really really cool to hear like a mature guy Outcast album. I'd want to know what that sounds like. That sounds like really fucking cool. And you say um, really mellow stuff. Definitely recommend listening to Cool with you. But yeah, man. That's the thing. I like really like mellow sounds. Like I'm really into like lo-fi and stuff. I love like singer songwriters. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to like Cave Town before. Cave Town is fucking awesome. He's one of my favorite like singer songwriter guys. Rex Orange County. Like I listen to a lot of stuff like that. Meat Ski. Um, you know, like really cool. Girl in Red. All that type of stuff. Uh, just like super relaxing. Like one of my favorite bands is Group Love. Group Love is like one of my favorite bands. If you've never heard of Group Love, they're actually this band. They do the ending credits for BoJack Horseman. You know, uh, like I love them. Like they're so good. And I found them at the end of BoJack Horseman because back in the '90s, I was like, yo, that's such a catchy song. I was like, I wonder if I can like find that song if there's a full one, and there's not. It's only like 50 seconds. But that's how I got into the band, and I fell in love with all of their shit, bro, all of their shit, man. They're fantastic. I want to see them live so bad. All their albums are great. Yeah, man. I'm into the indie stuff. I mean, I started out when I was a kid being into like ACDC and all that type of stuff. Um, and like Led Zeppelin, never really Guns N' Roses or anything, Nirvana. I was listening to a lot of that stuff while listening to hip hop. Like my childhood was nice, man. I was eating, bro. I was listening to like Led Zeppelin, uh, you know, was it Against Me and stuff like that. All these different like indie rock bands and stuff, and like Kanye's dropping his first album. It was a good time. It was a very very good time, man. But sadly enough, those days are over. There were bags under my eyes, and life got real. But I'm enjoying myself too, and the indie idols, man. There's a lot of great people nowadays. Like I hate that idea that like rock and roll is dead. It's like, no, it's not. I mean, it's smaller. It's definitely smaller. Hip hop is definitely the new pop. Because there was a time when like rock and roll was the huge thing, and then you had like pop, rock like Blink 182 and stuff. Which growing up as a kid, I still loved. I still love now. They have some great albums. You know, but like now hip hop is that. Like Wiz Khalifa is almost like Blink 182 for like hip hop. I don't want to diss Wiz. I love Wiz. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. What's good, my guy? It's good. Came to interrupt the show. Say hello to the homie. Every time I'm playing around on here, every time I'm doing this live stream, he wants to come in and jump on my lap. He loves the attention. I'm thinking about bringing him on stage with me. You know, yeah, there's tons of like great rock bands. There's tons of great rap. Like I feel like when people talk about music and they like shit on music and they're like, "Oh, this music nowadays sucks." It's like they're kind of bugging. It's like it's not that it sucks. It's just that the main like all the good music is fully out there for your access, still on Spotify too. Like right on your membership, you pay your subscription, you can still find these people. But they're not put to the forefront. I'll admit that. Back when you had like, rock and roll or even hip hop in those early days, it's like they gave you Biggie. You didn't have to find Biggie. But there were still whack people too. People act like there wasn't whack ass musicians in like the 80s and 90s and 70s and shit, man. You had the Smiths, but then you would have some dumbass band that, most of us have never heard of or never will hear again. Um, so yeah, man. I feel like that's my thing, man. When you if you're a real music head, just like randomly just go into different genres, like explore just random different genres, man. I promise you'll fall in love with some shit. I've been listening to like a decent amount of like South African, new wave and shit. Like I'm deep in these music streets. Ow, don't fucking to fucking bite me. I'm doing it out here. Um, open your minds, man. People listen to too much of like one shit. That's my thing. People listen to like just one genre of music and they're just like, that's what I like. I listen to five people. I will never listen to more than five people. Fuck off. It's like, I respect it, but have some fun, man. Exactly. Yeah, man. Like I love new wave. Like I love like 80s music and stuff, like Pet Shop Boys and stuff like that. Always on My Mind is like one of my favorite fucking songs and shit. So like I'm always listening to that stuff, man. Um and that's kind of, it's funny, that's kind of leads me back to what I was gonna say before, is that, with music right now, things are all over the place. But I feel like hip hop is kind of losing the youth a little bit. Because I was hanging out with my nephew and he's about 21, so he's in it. He's really in that like young guy stage and everything. And like I was saying before, his tail's gonna hit my mic. Like I was saying before, stop. These kids, they like listen to a handful of like, you know, their current artists that are like their age and everything, but 99% of the stuff he was listening to was like older stuff and not really hip hop. Like he was, there was definitely like Kendrick and like, Drake and J. Cole and stuff mixed in there. And different just older songs that he liked mixed in there. But it was a lot of like, yeah, like 80s, 90s, just like, or even like early 2000s, like feel good music. And I talked to him about it. I was like, oh, you listen to this? Because I was surprised. And he was like, yeah, I just I don't like listening to hip hop all the time because it makes me angry, you know? And he's a very like self-aware type person. So he would say something like that. He's very introspective. And he's like, yeah, it makes me angry. And it just kind of hit me because I'm like, when I was a kid, and maybe it's just me, like hip hop never made me angry. Like a certain artist would, but just listening to hip hop in general would never like make me angry. It'd make me motivated. It could make me sad. It could make me angry if I'm listening to a certain guy, but I never was like, I'm not going to listen to hip hop because it's going to give me a dark thought or something like that. But I think back in the day, things were a little bit more versatile. And like now, all the new artists that are coming out. And I think when he meant hip hop, he meant like drill music. Like he was talking about like current hip hop coming out now. That wasn't like Drake or J. Cole or you know what I mean? Um, and it makes him angry. And it's like, yeah, because you're listening to drill music all the time. That's literally music about people, you know, causing harm to other people. I don't want to, get flagged on YouTube, but hurting people and shit, man. And it's so funny because like you notice like none of those new rappers in any way are really like progressing. Like this generation doesn't have a Drake or a J. Cole or a Kendrick. They just have Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick. Like, have you ever noticed that? They really don't. Um, I can see where your nephew's coming from. Like with Tupac, keep your head up. It's not that I don't like the song. I love it, but I hate that it is even more relevant today. That's true too. I think also, yeah, kids are dealing with things that are like very heavy. The entire world is heavy, and the entire world is filled with like death and anger and aggression. So to listen to something that talks about the consequences of it, it's probably pretty heavy, man. And like especially with drill music, especially like keep your head up. To me, is like inspirational. Even though it has a sad meaning to it and story behind it, it still is inspirational. In a way, it makes me feel good, but in a melancholy way. But if you're listening to drill music, it's literally just the simplest raps with the biggest 808 beats, and you're talking about how somebody else died and how you did it, and these people are like going on the internet for clout, with mementos from the people that they just hit, you know, and yeah, these kids, they have like little bursts of popularity, but then they always fade away, and it's because of that. It's like they're they're killing people for clout. They're literally killing people for clout, so they're throwing their lives away. It's like number one, it's like because people like you because of the drama, not because of how good you were, how good of a storyteller you were, how good of a lyricist you were, how good of a general all around musician you were. They liked it because they're like cosplaying you, you know. They're, these are kids who don't leave the house, and you're outside in the craziest way. To them, it's almost like live streaming. They're like, this guy's nuts. Whoa. Every time they hear an album. But that doesn't mean they're actually connecting with you in a real way that'll stay with them forever. You would hear stuff like, Biggie, like things done changed or something, and it's like a dark song about hood shit and how things change, but it wasn't like, bringing you to a fucked up place. And I think because of that, like you said, kids are going through so much stuff and things are so relevant today. A lot of pain is very, very relevant, very, very big today. That, like, yeah, they just don't want to listen to it. They don't want to see it outside and then put it in their ears and then pull up their phone and see it again, and you're bombarded with it. So I get just wanting like happy, simple, softer songs, because even I need a balance. Even I need a balance, man. Um, yeah, man. I don't know where hip hop is gonna go from now because it's like I said, there's really no big guys that are under the big three. I mean, you have Travis Scott, he's huge and stuff, and like Playboy Cardi, but it's pretty small, So I wonder where shit's gonna go. I wonder where music's gonna go. Drake being independent is a huge thing. What's gonna happen with that and how that'll impact music as a whole. And there's just so much to talk about, man. I'm glad I'm doing this 7 day challenge because I like how much I've been connecting with you guys and stuff. And I know you guys don't know me and I don't know you, but you guys are great, and I fuck with you, man. And tomorrow we're gonna do a little bit of travel stuff. I'm gonna give you a little bit of I'm gonna be eating a little bit of food, take you to a halal spot. We're gonna have some fun, man. Uh, you know, you guys will get to see the real New York. I haven't really been going outside because it's fucking freezing outside, but we're gonna have a little bit of fun. I'm gonna be doing a lot of different videos in the upcoming weeks, man, that are gonna be really, really cool. So thank you guys for checking me out, but I got to peace out. It's a little late, and yeah, I'll see you later. Have a good one. Peace.